Did you know that the company that gave us Mario and Zelda started out making playing cards? Seriously, let's travel back to 1889 in Kyoto, Japan. A small company called Yamauchi Nintendo opens its doors, crafting beautiful, handmade hanafuda playing cards. For decades, this was their world: cards, not consoles. It's almost impossible to imagine, right? From these humble, artistic beginnings, a global entertainment giant would slowly and unexpectedly begin to take shape. How did a 19th century card maker become the king of video games? Stick around, because this story is more surprising than finding a secret level in Super Mario. For over 70 years, Nintendo focused solely on its card business. They were successful, even becoming the largest playing card company in Japan. But the world was changing, and so was Nintendo. In the 1960s, under the leadership of Hiroshi Yamauchi, the founder's grandson, the company started exploring wild new ventures. We're talking about a taxi service, a chain of love hotels, and even instant rice. No, I'm not making this up. Most of these businesses failed, pushing the company to the brink. But these failures were crucial. They taught Nintendo a valuable lesson: stick to what you do best: entertainment. This realization led them into the world of toys. In the late 1960s and early 70s, they began producing a variety of quirky and innovative toys. Does the Ultra Hand ring a bell? It was a simple, extendable arm toy, but it sold over 1 million units and became a massive hit. This success in the toy market was a pivotal moment. It showed Nintendo that there was a huge appetite for fun and creative products. It also brought a genius inventor into the fold: Gunpei Yokoi. His philosophy of lateral thinking with withered technology, using mature, affordable tech in new and creative ways, would become a cornerstone of Nintendo's identity for decades to come. From toys, the next logical step was the booming arcade scene. In the late 70s, Nintendo dipped its toes into the world of coin-operated arcade games. They had some moderate successes, but their big break came in 1981. Faced with a surplus of unsold radar scope arcade cabinets in America, Nintendo of America was in trouble. They tasked a young artist, who had never designed a game before, to create something new that could be installed in these old cabinets. That artist was Shigeru Miyamoto. The game he created? Donkey Kong. It was an absolute sensation. Not only did it introduce the world to the heroic carpenter Jumpman, who we would later come to know as Mario, it also saved Nintendo of America and set the stage for their grand entrance into the home console market. Just a few years later, the video game industry in North America was in ruins. The great video game crash of 1983 had decimated the market. Atari, the former king, had fallen. Retailers were terrified of video games, viewing them as a dead fad. It seemed like the party was over. But in Japan, Nintendo had released a wildly successful home console called the Famicom. They were convinced they could succeed where Atari had failed. In 1985, they brought a redesigned version of the Famicom to the West. They didn't call it a video game console. They called it the Nintendo Entertainment System, or NES. To overcome retailers' fears, Nintendo positioned the NES as a toy, complete with a robot companion called ROB. They even offered to buy back any unsold stock. It was a massive gamble, but it paid off spectacularly. The NES wasn't just a piece of hardware. It came with a killer app. A game that would define a generation: Super Mario Bros. This game was a masterpiece of design, a perfect blend of challenge, discovery, and pure fun. It revitalized the entire industry and cemented Nintendo's place as the new leader. The NES sold over 60 million units worldwide, and with it, Nintendo introduced strict quality control for third-party games, ensuring the market wouldn't be flooded with low-quality titles like it was in the Atari era. They didn't just sell a console, they saved an industry. As the 80s came to a close, Nintendo was on top of the home console world, but they weren't content to rest there. They saw another frontier: gaming on the go. In 1989, guided again by the vision of Gunpei Yokoi, Nintendo released the Game Boy. Compared to its competitors like the Atari Lynx or Sega Game Gear, the Game Boy's hardware was simple. It had a monochrome screen and basic processing power. But this was its genius. It was durable, affordable, and its battery life was incredible. and it came bundled with a game so addictive it became a global phenomenon, Tetris. The Game Boy created a brand new market for portable gaming. It was something you could take anywhere, a companion for long car rides and school lunch breaks. But its legacy would be cemented a few years later with the release of a new game that combined collecting, battling, and exploring. In 1996, Pokémon Red and Blue were released in Japan, and the world was never the same. The gotta-catch-'em-all craze swept the globe, turning the Game Boy from a successful handheld into an absolute cultural icon. The system and its successors would go on to sell over 118 million units, proving that great gameplay and portability could be just as powerful as cutting-edge graphics. Throughout the 90s and 2000s, Nintendo continued to innovate, though not always with commercial success. The Super Nintendo continued their dominance, but the Nintendo 64, while introducing 3D gaming to the masses with Super Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time, lost market share to Sony's PlayStation, which used cheaper and larger capacity CDs. The GameCube followed, a powerful and charming little console that struggled against the PlayStation 2. Then came the Wii in 2006. In a world obsessed with high-definition graphics and processing power, Nintendo went in a completely different direction. The Wii focused on an intuitive new way to play, motion controls. It was a revolution. The simple, wand-like Wii remote made gaming accessible to everyone, from kids to grandparents. Games like Wii Sports became social events, bringing families together in the living room. The Wii wasn't just for hardcore gamers, it was for everybody. It became one of the best-selling consoles of all time, outselling its more powerful competitors, the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. It was a powerful reminder of Nintendo's core philosophy: fun, innovative gameplay always comes first. The follow-up, the Wii U, tried to innovate again with its tablet-like gamepad, but it failed to capture the public's imagination and was a commercial disappointment. It seemed Nintendo had lost its magic touch. But you can never count Nintendo out. After the failure of the Wii U, the pressure was on. The company took a hard look at its strengths and the changing ways people play games. They noticed that the line between home console gaming and portable gaming was blurring. What if you didn't have to choose? In March 2017, they launched their answer, the Nintendo Switch. It was a brilliant, hybrid concept. A powerful handheld that you could also dock to your TV and play as a traditional home console. The Switch was instantaneous and seamless. It was the best of both worlds. The concept alone was compelling, but it launched with what many consider one of the greatest games ever made: The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. This, combined with a steady stream of incredible first-party titles like Super Mario Odyssey, Animal Crossing, New Horizons, and a new generation of Pokémon, propelled the Switch to astronomical success. It resonated with players of all kinds, recapturing the magic of the Wii and the portability of the Game Boy. The Switch wasn't just a comeback, it was a complete reinvention that perfectly encapsulated Nintendo's long history of innovation. Beyond the hardware, Nintendo's true legacy lies in its characters and worlds. Mario, Link, Zelda, Donkey Kong, Samus Aran, Kirby. These aren't just video game sprites. They are cultural icons, recognized and loved by billions around the globe. Shigeru Miyamoto, the creator of many of these characters, has a design philosophy that focuses on creating a sense of wonder and discovery, or kando, as it's known in Japanese. It's that feeling of joy when you discover a hidden pipe in Super Mario, or find a secret cave in Hyrule. These franchises have endured for decades because they constantly reinvent themselves while staying true to their core appeal. They've spawned movies, merchandise, and even theme parks, transcending the world of gaming to become a permanent part of our shared popular culture. From a small card company in 19th century Kyoto to a global entertainment titan, Nintendo's journey is one of resilience, creativity, and a relentless focus on fun. They've faced failures and naysayers, but they've always bounced back by daring to be different, by prioritizing smiles over specifications. They taught us how to play together, how to explore vast worlds, and how to carry entire adventures in our pockets. The story of Nintendo is a reminder that the most powerful technology, isn't about processors or polygons. It's about the technology of joy. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this journey through gaming history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories like this one.